Custom-made orthotics for work boots, and what are the best work boots to fit a custom-made orthotic? Now, this is the common question we get asked in the podiatry clinic as we treat a lot of fly-in, fly-out workers, electricians, builders, carpenters, and plumbers. All the different trades often ask the same question. So there are a few specific features that we look for in a work boot in particular, and the rest of the features are just a feature of a generally good shoe. So the features we look for in any shoe that you're putting on your foot is, where does it bend? It should only bend through where your big toe bends. It shouldn't twist too much, so we don't want it to twist too much. The heel counter should be high and firm, and it should be able to be adjusted to your foot. Now, that's a very brief, very basic overview of the basic features we look for. And so probably the number one question we get asked is, why do my custom orthotics feel different in my running shoes compared to my work boots? And one of the reasons is the heel pitch. So this is the Ergonix Elements work boot. What we look for is the heel pitch. So the heel pitch is the difference in height between the heel and the forefoot. And you can see that this one runs a little bit higher in the heel to the forefoot. And so what we've done is we've matched that up to match what the most popular running shoes like the Brooks and Asics runners are now running in their heel pitch. So when you fit your custom-made orthotics in this work boot, it'll actually feel more like a running shoe. The other thing that we've tried to match up to a running shoe is the midsole. So if you can see here, this midsole is actually quite solid but shock absorbing. So this is very similar density to like a Brooks running shoe. So what this does, it helps to cushion your heel at impact, so there's not as much force going up through the foot, and it generally just makes the foot a lot more comfortable over the workday. So this will make the work boot feel a lot more like a running shoe than a work boot, and so the feel of your custom-made orthotics will be much more like how it feels in your running shoes compared to fitting in another work boot where it might not feel as comfortable. So the other thing we look for is in the work boot. There's a few other things. So this is a section of the Ergonix Elements work boot. This is just the black version, and it's been cut in half. So the first thing, when we try and fit a custom-made orthotic, we need to make sure, is there enough room for the custom-made orthotic? So we want the boot to be the right size for your foot, because if we go too big, then it won't bend in the right spot. So where the boot bends, we match this up with your first toe, where your first toe bends. So if we go too big, the bending part of the boot will be too far forward. So we need to get the correct size. But then what we've got in the Ergonix Elements work boot is we can remove this insole. And what that does, it means that there's enough room for you to take your custom-made orthotic insole and drop it straight in, because there's enough depth. Now, it's deeper through the throat of the shoe, so you'll be able to fit your custom-made orthotic in here, because if we pop the existing liner back in, you'll be able to see that it's already, because our work boots have already got this our non-custom orthotic inner sole in there. What you can do is replace the arch height with your custom-made orthotic, and it'll feel like it's meant to be like there's enough room in the shoe. So the first thing is we look for, is there enough room? Second thing, if we look at this board section here, see where all the writing is, the red Ergonix writing is across the boot. We need to make sure that this is flat. So all of our arch contour and work comes from our orthotic inner sole in the boot. But then we want the actual board underneath there to be flat. Now the reason for this is, when your podiatrist makes a custom-made orthotic, they'll measure your feet and often do a 3D scan. Like you can see our scanner over my shoulder, that's a 3D scanner right there. And that'll measure your foot accurately to within a fraction of a millimeter. So then what your podiatrist will do, they're going to take the scan of your foot and mill out your orthotics and roll your foot out or roll your foot in or support it or give it a heel raise to exactly what you need. So then if we go and fit that inside a boot, we want the base that that's sitting on to be flat, so it won't either overcorrect your foot or undercorrect your foot. It's a common misconception that when we make a custom-made orthotic, this will do the work of the shoe, and that's incorrect. We need to use a custom-made orthotic with the best possible work shoe that we've got. So you get the best correction, and then we know where we're starting from. So ideally we want to start from a zero base, and then your podiatrist can move your foot up or down depending on what they've measured specifically for your condition. And that's the benefit of a custom-made orthotic. You get your foot measured, and they can actually make the orthotic to fit in the shoe and specifically for your condition. Much in the same way that you would reading glasses. They make a prescription just for your eyes, and just for your left and right eye might be a little bit different. The left and right foot might be a little bit different as well. So the other thing we look for is the heel seat where your orthotic actually sits, is it wide enough? And because what we want to do is we want to have enough of the room for the custom-made orthotic to sit under your heel, whereas we don't want actually that to push up on the side of the shoe and overcorrect your foot. So again, it comes back to starting with a level base in the shoe to help to support the foot rather than overcorrect the foot. And the other thing we look for is, once we put in a custom orthotic into a shoe, if we have a look here, you can see that often we get a problem with slipping. So people start to say, oh, my heel slips a little bit now once I've changed the heel height. So what the Ergonix Elements work boots have got is they've got this padded section in the heel. So if you look down here, it comes down here and then it stops and makes this little cavity here for your heel to sit in. Now what that does is, as your foot tries to slip up, it's like you've got a heel grip already made into the shoe, and it's made with this nice soft foam, so it's very comfortable, and it will just sort of stop the heel from slipping up and keep your foot nice and locked in position. So when you add that with a custom-made orthotic in our work boots with this heel grip, the flat insole, all the features of the good shoe, like where does it bend, it's not too hard, not too soft, it's got this nice midsole and a heel pitch. And the other thing in relation to the heel pitch, quite often what we feel is when we make a custom-made orthotic, we'll get a little bit too much pressure right in towards the back of the heel seat. It's in this suscenticulum tali area. So by matching the heel seat up to the common running shoes, we don't need to adjust the posting elevator as much to fit into the shoes, so it'll feel more comfortable in more shoes. You'll be able to switch it from your running shoes to your work boots with no problems. So that is very briefly what we look for in a work boot. So this has been the Ergonix Elements work boot. It's got all the features that we look for, and we regularly use them in the podiatry clinic. We've been testing these for 2 years now, and we're very, very happy with what we've come up with. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to ask, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. It's really simple to do, and it really does help out our channel. If you need more information on the topics discussed, you can find some links in the description where they'll take you to our website where we can discuss this in a little more detail. If you have a specific question that you'd like answered, please comment in the comment section below, and we'll do our best to make a video to address your question. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.